and a 1, and a 2.
Inspired by Slate.
Inspired by Slate. Rehearsal. So I'm still spacing on that, the extra, well, the 7 thing changing.
Yeah.
Want to practice that?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I got to keep counting.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to, you just really have to internalize it because, I'm telling you anything. But
One more time.
You want to play with the spot?
if you can, that'd be way easier.
That was good. Yeah. It's hard. It's easy to lose.
Sorry, dudes. I screwed that, but that weird break.
Oh, well, me too. I'm sure I didn't get it right, but that's sort of the vibe.
I mean,
right?
I'm kind of like trying to. I'm sort of intentionally doing some weird things for the time. I can even turn myself down more so it doesn't mess up the feel. So I'm trying to do like da 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 da. Like I'm trying to put 5 over a 7, 2 bars of 7. I'm really not thinking about you guys.
Way to screw us all up, man.
I don't care. I'm trying not to think about it.
Why don't you break out your protractor or something?
Yeah. Where's your abacus, bro?
This time for real.
This time's the one. What's your thing? This time for sure.
This time for sure.
There we go. Now I can go.
Now we can start.
That one's cool.
Okay, so do you think we can work with that then, video-wise?
I think so.
Okay.
Can we talk about it?
Sure.
Let me tell you a story of how I wrote this song with this electronic breath instrument. Nothing like the sound of the keys.
The click of the plastic.
The clickety-clack of life. That's how I feel about this here doodad. That's what my doodad taught me. My doodad taught me the clickety-clacks of life are right next to the birds and the bees.
What the hell are you talking?
I'm just going.
You're starting to go water boy on us, man.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned, man.
Right. So this was inspired by, this whole song really wouldn't have happened without this thing. Somebody dropped this off to me and just was like, you want to play with this and see if you can come up with something to do with it? And not being a sax player, I looked at all these keys and thought, I don't know if I can. But I assumed, or hoped at least, that there'd be like a trumpet fingering setting in there. And there was. And me being a wee bit of a trumpet player, I got it set up and started messing around with it. So of course it's got built-in sounds. So I messed with those too. And it's even got a speaker on it. So you can actually just sit here and play it, battery powered. You can hear what you're doing.
Oh,
but
that's
it's
kind of fun.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
But it's a MIDI controller too. So once I started doing that, it's like, okay, this opens up every single virtual instrument I've got in my computer. So then I was like, well, what if I put just like a session horns, like the horns, the contact horns? Oh, okay, that sounds really good. Well, what if I put another instance of it and transpose it up a fourth? What if I put a Barry under that and then that's another fourth? So then I'm playing these stacked fourths, which is what opened the song.
Right.
Part of it is, saxophone players have to be used to octave jumping keys. Trumpet players, it's just the 3 valves. You use your airspeed to go higher or lower. So I had to really get used to that. A few solid days of practicing,
I bet.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But I gradually figured it out and then kind of figured out some things I could do. And that little drone in the beginning, just that chromatic thing with the fourths working their way up, was the whole tune. I knew I wanted it to be in 7. And I knew, once we got to the end, we were going to open it up and let that loop keep going. And I just wanted to really mess with it and change the feels and do whatever we want. And that is when Sir Nick came in.
I like messing with the beats.
Yeah, and you really did. And that's it. And then the flute thing, what I really had fun doing was, it's like what made this open up more is like the better and better virtual instrument I decided to run through, it got even cooler. And I figured out how the breath can control the expression in the flute, which is from the Vienna Symphonic Library, which is one of the best virtual libraries out there. So that's where that little middle section got inspired. I was able to kind of start softly and come in, use my breath to have dynamics, things you can't do with just a regular keyboard.
Right.
How much air are you blowing through the instrument is it a lot? Are you blowing really softly? Compared to a regular horn,
Right.
is it easier?
I had a lot of going back and forth with, basically the equivalent would be like a velocity curve on a keyboard, how it responds to your touch, the velocity you play. It's the same thing for this, except it's breath instead of playing. So with any VI I'm using, I have to figure out, if I keep it linear, okay, well, if I blow this much, it gets me a really soft note. But for this, that made some things harder. Like if I wanted to play repeated notes and do kind of a double tonguing technique, if the velocity curve is linear, only every other note will pop out. So I had to figure out how to kind of lift the curve so that, I could set it, you could set it to where just something as soft as will play a super loud note.
Okay.
So I went back and forth, found something that worked.
Yeah, that flute sound, when I walked in your office, man, you had that flute sound up and you're like, what can we do with this? And I said, well, let's do this. And I just played a handful of chords and you went, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Chill that out.
And you were like, why haven't you ever done this before? It's well, no one brought me one yet. It happened at the right time.
Right, it's perfect, man.
But enough about me. So Don, what are you playing? What did you choose for this?
Man, when I heard the tune, right, because I heard especially the 7/8 part, the really, the really fast, frantic part, I thought, man, it needs to be articulate.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing it needs to be is
Right.
big fat notes that are articulate, because I'm competing with a horn sound, stacked horns. So in order to do that, I thought, man, what better than, first of all, Les Paul and this Murphy Lab thing. Woof, man, this thing is nice. Plays great, sounds great. Again, super articulate. Also the same thing with the J-Rocket Archer. That's the Jeff Beck Archer. It's a boost pedal, it's an overdrive pedal, but it just kind of gives that little mid-range kind of punch that punches things through. And again, Friedman, Dirty Shirley, same thing. Kind of a kind of a slightly dirty amp, just slightly broken up, but big and powerful sound and fat sounding than the Ox. Easy enough that way, man.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And what's this, Nick?
Well, you guys played me the tune, so you inspired by gear. So first I got inspired by the song, and then I had to think about what's going to inspire me to play along with this tune. So
Sure.
I was thinking small sounds. So I got a small Gretsch USA Custom 20-inch kick drum, 10 and 14-inch toms, and a small pork pie little squealer 13-inch or 12-inch snare drum. Just a high-pitched cracking sound. So small sounds to fit with this sort of fast, tight, fusion-y sort of thing.
Yep.
And then lots of percussion fun because, we're getting a little bit wacky with the song.
Yeah.
So I got lots of dry Meinl cymbals, and then I have some NAL shakers. I have a vibra slap. Can't go wrong with a vibra.
Right.
Any
No.
chance I get to use this,
You managed to use everything in the song.
Yeah.
Good.
Cowbell,
Very
an
good.
LP cowbell, an LP hi-hat tambourine, and I even brought a Meinl djembe. All to just add these flavors so you get totally different inspiration altogether. So like at the end when we're doing that,
the loop
it's
thing,
in
yeah.
7, but we're turning the beat around. So when I got up to play the djembe, I went to straight 4/4 and just kind of went wild on a djembe solo. So, small drums, dry cymbals, and percussion to me was the inspiration for the sound of this little piece.
Yeah, the same kind of thing, tight, articulate.
Tight and articulate, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious from a musical standpoint. I would actually love to hear how everybody felt about it. But when we're doing that 7 thing at the end, and you've just got this this click that you almost like obviously we want to keep it, but we also want to mess with it. Like when you were soloing over that, are you thinking from a drummer standpoint? Are you thinking specific fills? Are you really listening to the click? Or are you just kind of feeling it? And how much are you thinking about where the bar line is? And how much are you just thinking about just channeling yourself in the moment?
I'd
I'm always
probably
curious.
say well, I'm definitely listening to the click. I want
Sure.
to stay on it because we're locked to a click.
Of course.
So
Right.
I'm thinking the 7,
Yeah.
but just playing completely freely. I'm trying
Okay.
to not play in 7.
I see.
But sometimes it's hard when you have that pulse stuck in your head, and then you got to consciously think of changing the time signature. So, and it just starts feeling. So I think it's easy to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. It's like just changing that 1/16th note. As long as you have this click in your head going,
Right.
it's not as hard as it seems. So subconsciously, I'm definitely staying with the click,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to go completely mad while soloing.
Right.
In that kind of context, because it's kind of called for a little bit of crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that whole thing's really loose. And the same thing that, with the dump, the chromatic pulse thing, that's easy because then that's enough space that you can subdivide that however you want. And that continues to be the pulse, and that's so I was kind of cueing in on that. But, of course, also listening to Nick soloing too, that's another big thing because where's he going? What subdivision is he using? It's like, oh, cool, let's do that.
Because I think we had probably about 4 or 5 different feels through that.
Yeah.
We did, man.
Styles of music. I mean, with the djembe, it starts to have this Latin effect,
African-y sort of thing.
fast
Yeah.
African kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then we go back to 7, but then what I just love is when it's dun, 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 but then we get dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, or sometimes it's dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Straight, swing, African, put it together.
Yeah.
It's a mess of good music.
Inspired by.
Gear. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing with you guys.
Heck yeah, me too, man.
Come on, anytime we get to
Big
play
time.
together is awesome.
As always, I can't believe it's taken us this long, the 3 years I've been here, for us to be facing each other in this room, talking.
Times they are a changing.
They're changing.
And I wonder what piece of gear will inspire us to do the next thing.
Who knows?
Maybe someone will drop a piece of gear off to my office and it will inspire us to do something.
Maybe next time you'll have a breath-played drum instrument
You never know.
or a guitar or something.
Sure.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it, guys.
Let's do it
Yeah,
again.
me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do it.